Hey, if you're ready to break free from fear and unlock your potential, hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild ride. Let's dive in. I wish someone had screamed this truth in my face years ago. Change isn't the enemy, it's the only way to survive. I learned this the hard way, curled up in a corner of my life, terrified of what was next. My wake-up call? A little book called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Its simple story of mice and men scrambling for cheese in a maze hit me like a freight train. What would you do if you weren't afraid? It asked. That question haunted me, because fear was my prison, chaining me to a life I hated but was too scared to leave. Let me take you back to 2019. I was 27, stuck in a soul-crushing office job, making just enough to cover rent and ramen. Every morning I'd wake up dreading the day, my stomach twisting as I dragged myself to a cubicle where I felt invisible. My colleagues were climbing the ladder while I was paralyzed, afraid to ask for a raise or even switch desks. Why? Because change felt like stepping off a cliff. What if I failed? What if I lost everything? I'd lie awake at night, picturing myself homeless, alone, a total failure. That fear wasn't just a thought. It was a physical weight, crushing my chest, stealing my breath. Then, one rainy afternoon, I found Who Moved My Cheese on a coworker's desk. I borrowed it, thinking it was some cheesy self-help fluff. But as I read about sniff, scurry, hem, and haw, those mice and little people chasing cheese in a maze, I saw myself in haw. The guy who clung to his old spot, terrified to move even when the cheese was gone. The fear you let build up in your mind is worse than the situation that actually exists, the book said. That line gut-punched me. Was I really just scaring myself into staying stuck? My life was a maze, and my cheese, my comfort zone, was long gone. The job wasn't fulfilling. My relationships were crumbling, and I hadn't taken a real risk since college. I'd spent years avoiding change, thinking it protected me. Instead, it was starving me. I wasn't living. I was surviving, barely. I'd check my bank account obsessively, knowing I had $432.17 to last the month, too scared to spend a dime on anything but necessities. My friends stopped inviting me out because I always said no, afraid of anything that disrupted my routine. I was Hem, sitting in the dark, whining about my missing cheese. One night, I hit rock bottom. I was scrolling through social media, watching people my age launch startups, travel the world, chase dreams. Meanwhile, I was eating cold pizza in my tiny apartment, too afraid to even update my resume. I remembered another line from the book. When you stop being afraid, you feel good. That hit hard. I wasn't feeling good. I was miserable. I realized I wasn't just afraid of change. I was afraid of myself. What if I wasn't good enough? What if I tried and failed? But then I thought, what if I didn't try? That scared me more. So I made a choice. I wasn't going to be haw anymore, sitting in the maze, waiting for the cheese to magically reappear. I started small, but I started. I signed up for an online course in digital marketing, something I'd always wanted to try but was too scared to commit to. It cost $199, nearly half my monthly savings, and my hands shook as I clicked enroll. But when I did, something shifted. For the first time in years, I felt alive, like I was running through the maze, chasing new cheese. That course was my first step out of fear. I stayed up late, learning about SEO, content creation, and analytics. I was terrible at first. My first campaign got 3 clicks and 0 conversions. But I kept going. I wasn't just learning skills, I was learning to trust myself. 6 months later, I landed a freelance gig that paid $2,200, more than I'd ever made in a month at my day job. It wasn't just the money, it was the proof that change didn't have to destroy me, it could save me. Looking back, I see how fear had me in a chokehold. I was so scared of losing what little I had that I didn't realize I was losing myself. Who moved my cheese? didn't just give me a story, it gave me a mirror. It showed me I was choosing fear over freedom every single day. Movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese, the book said, and I was ready to move. That first taste of new cheese, those $1,200 from my freelance gig, lit a fire in me. But let's be real. Breaking free from fear wasn't a one-and-done moment. It was a grueling, messy process, like running through a maze with no map, tripping over every obstacle. Who moved my cheese? Didn't just wake me up. It gave me a blueprint to keep moving, even when every fiber of my being screamed to stay still. The book's line, "If you do not change, you can become extinct," kept echoing in my head. I wasn't about to let fear fossilize me. So, I built a system, a real, actionable plan to conquer my fear of change and chase the life I wanted. Here's how I did it, step by step, and how you can too. First, I faced the ugly truth. I had to identify what I was actually afraid of. Sounds simple, but it's brutal. I sat down with a notebook and wrote out every fear holding me back. Losing my job, looking stupid, going broke, being alone. The list was 2 pages long, and staring at it made my stomach churn. But naming those fears stripped them of some power. Who moved my cheese taught me that what you are afraid of is never as bad as what you imagine. So, I asked myself, what's the worst that could happen if I tried something new? If I failed at freelancing, I'd still have my skills. If I lost my job, I could find another. Writing it down made the maze less terrifying. Step 2 was setting stupidly small goals. I'm talking micro. Goals so tiny they felt ridiculous. Fear had me paralyzed, so I needed momentum, not miracles. Instead of quit my job, my first goal was apply to one freelance project this week. I spent an hour crafting a proposal, sweating over every word, terrified of rejection. But I hit send. When I got that first gig, it wasn't luck. It was proof I could act despite fear. I kept going, setting goals like learn one new marketing tool or email one potential client. Each win, no matter how small, was cheese in the maze, keeping me moving. Next, I built a safety net, not to stay comfortable, but to make risks less paralyzing. I saved $50 a month, even when it meant skipping takeout. That tiny emergency fund grew to $1,000 in a year, enough to cover rent if a gig fell through. I also networked, not in a slimy way, but by reaching out to old classmates, joining online forums, and commenting on industry blogs. When I landed a $3,000 project from a connection I'd made on LinkedIn, I realized these relationships were my backup plan. The book's advice, smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old, pushed me to check my resources constantly, making sure I wasn't relying on a single source of income or support. Step 4 was tracking my progress, and I mean obsessively. I used a simple spreadsheet to log every action: courses completed, pitches sent, money earned, numbers don't lie, and seeing I'd gone from $0 to $5,000 in freelance income in 18 months was a shock. It wasn't just about money, it was about time. I cut my social media scrolling from 10 hours a day to 2, freeing up 56 hours a week. That's 2,912 hours a year, enough to read 30 books, learn a new skill, or just live. Tracking made change tangible, not some vague dream. Finally, I embraced failure as part of the maze. Early on, I bombed a client pitch so badly they never responded. I felt like a fraud, ready to crawl back to my old life. But then I remembered Haw from the book, who laughed at his own mistakes and kept running. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. So, I analyzed what went wrong, rewrote my pitch, and landed 2 clients the next month. Failure wasn't the end, it was a detour. These steps transformed me. Before, I was stuck, earning $24,000 a year, too scared to move. Now I'm freelancing full-time, pulling in $60,000 annually, with clients across 3 continents. I'm not saying it's perfect. I still get scared, but I'm not paralyzed anymore. My life isn't a dead-end job. It's a maze full of possibilities. I sleep better, I've rebuilt friendships, and I even took a solo trip to Thailand last year, something I'd never have dared before. Change didn't destroy me, it rebuilt me. So here I am, running through the maze, chasing new cheese, and living a life I never thought possible. But this isn't just my story. It's yours too. You're standing at a crossroads, just like I was, with fear whispering that change will ruin you. I'm here to tell you, it won't. Who moved my cheese? Didn't just change my mindset, it gave me the courage to act, and it can do the same for you. Move with the cheese and enjoy it, the book urged, and that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. Move right now, before fear locks you in place again. Your cheese is out there, waiting, but you've got to take the first step. Don't wait for a perfect moment. It doesn't exist. I started with a $190 course and a shaky proposal, terrified I'd crash and burn. But every step forward, no matter how small, built momentum. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow or overhaul your life overnight. Start where I did. Grab a notebook and write down one fear holding you back. Just one. Then ask yourself, what's the smallest thing I can do to face it? Maybe it's signing up for a free online class, reaching out to a mentor, or cutting an hour of Netflix to work on a passion project. Do it today, not tomorrow, today. That first step is your key to the maze. And don't go it alone. Subscribe to this channel. I'm dropping new videos every week with stories, strategies, and real talk to help you conquer fear and find your cheese. Hit that button, join this community, and let's run this maze together. Share your story in the comments. What's one change you're scared to make? Maybe it's switching careers, moving to a new city, or even just speaking up in a meeting. Drop it below, and let's talk about it. You'll be amazed how naming it out loud makes it less terrifying. Here's the truth. Fear will always be there, lurking in the shadows of the maze. But as Who Moved My Cheese taught me, when you move beyond your fear, you feel free. I'm living proof. 2 years ago, I was stuck, broke, and afraid of everything. Now, I'm freelancing, traveling, and building a life I love. Not because I'm fearless, but because I learned to move anyway. You can too. That $60,000 I'm earning now? It started with a single email. That trip to Thailand? It started with a $50 savings goal. Your dream life is waiting on the other side of action. So, what's stopping you? How many hours are you losing to fear, to scrolling, to staying stuck? Check your screen time right now. Go on, look at it. Are you spending 5-10 hours a day on your phone, avoiding the maze? Imagine what you could do with that time. You could learn a skill, start a side hustle, or just rediscover who you are. The cheese is moving, and if you don't move with it, you'll be left behind. Don't let fear steal another day. Take this challenge. Before you close this video, commit to one action. Maybe it's downloading a productivity app, signing up for a course, or even just walking away from your phone for an hour. Do it, and share it in the comments. Let's hold each other accountable. And if you're ready to keep chasing your cheese, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here to guide you through the maze, one step at a time. Let's find that new cheese together. What's your next move?